Hi guys, as usual, all the necessary links in the video description and my test system setup details for this guy also in the video description. And I hope it's not as hot wherever you are as it is here, because we just hit 38 degrees centigrade in shade. So, okay. 2 weeks ago, I was reviewing Audalytic DR70N R2R digital to analog converter and streamer. I've told you then that I got a full set, both DR70N and HP70 at the same time from the same HiFi college store. This guy is a second part of the set. It's a headphone amplifier and a preamplifier combo. And to be honest, I don't know which one comes first, headamp or preamp, especially if you think about the price, as this guy is just $350. I'm saying it's just $350 because Audalytic is Gustard brand, and for Gustard, $350 looks like pricing mistake. So, this is a fully balanced Class A discrete headphone amplifier and preamplifier. Preamp uses also two LME 49 720 operational amplifiers that are socketed and can be replaced with something else. I know you will ask about that, and yes, it does convert single-ended inputs to balanced outputs. So let's talk some numbers first. Frequency response for both preamplifier part and the headphone amplifier part is anything between 20 Hz and 40 kHz. That's cool, especially at the top end. And now the specs for the preamplifier part. Signal-to-noise ratio is 122 decibels. THD plus noise is less than 0.0004%. IMD, intermodular distortion, is less than 0.00304%. And the crosstalk is lower than minus 120 decibels. Headphone amplifier has a slightly worse performance, very slightly worse performance, because signal-to-noise ratio for the headphone amplifier is lower than 118 decibels. For the preamp, it was 120, so 2 decibels difference. THD plus noise is lower than 0.0005%. For preamp, that was 4 at the end. And IMD is less than 0.0005% again. So again, we have a difference between 4 and 5 on the least meaning position. And crosstalk is also slightly higher at minus 118 decibels. And for the preamp part, there's also one very important part of the specification, which is maximum power output. And this guy is able to push 2000 milliwatts per channel into 52 ohms load, which basically means that it's able to push 2 watts per channel when used with balanced connection into 52 ohms load. So this is a really powerful headphone amplifier, and this can easily drive even the most demanding loads like HiFi HE6 V2 SE that I have in my collection without any kind of problems. Okay, so it's powered off right now because I wanted to show you the insides first. So let's do that. Let's have a tour of the outside and the build, and then let's take a look inside. In the set with the headphone amplifier, we are getting the same Audalytic remote that you've already seen in my DR70 review. This guy looks basically very similar to the Gustard remotes. The only difference is that here we have Audalytic, and for Gustard, that's saying Gustard. But they are basically the same. Okay, so let's have that out of the way. And now the combo preamp and headphone amplifier. In front of the device, we have LCD display hiding over here. We have a touch control power on and off button. We have 2 sets of headphone outputs. One is single-ended for large connector, a large jack connector, and the smaller guy is balanced connection for 4.4 balanced connectors. And in the middle we have a rotary knob that doubles as a switch, and although it doesn't feel like that, it's actually a digital encoder. It's moving in a very smooth way with very nice torque, but it's not an analog potentiometer. Why? Because I can do something like that. Okay, so let's take a look at the back. Nothing interesting on the top, on the sides. On the bottom we have quite nice anti-vibration legs, and we have two screws that we need to remove if we want to take a look inside. In the back of the headphone and preamp combo we have a couple of things, and let's start with the inputs. We have one set of balanced inputs and we have two sets of single-ended inputs, and that's why I'm not sure if that's preamp with headphone amplifier or headphone amplifier with preamp inside, because usually the headphone amplifiers that are doubling as preamps have only one set of inputs, and this guy actually has three. So it's closer to real preamplifiers this way. And then we have one set of FCA outputs, one set of balanced XLR outputs, and then we have a power supply section. We have standard IEC 250 or 115, because there's also 115 15 volts version available with integrated fuse compartment, but we can also power this guy with DC between 15 and 18 volts. And I actually happen to have linear power supply that's able to deliver that kind of voltage, and I will talk about that a little bit later in the part of the review when I will be talking about the sound qualities. Okay, so this guy was powered off because I've already opened it for the video. As I've said, you need to remove two screws at the bottom, and then you have to remove four screws on the sides, and then you can slide the insides out. Now, one important thing, as it was with DR70, and actually I think it happened again, in order to be able to slide this PCB board out, you need to disconnect IEC ground connector, this one, which is a yellow cable, and right now it went inside and I will have to hunt for it. Okay, it's over there. You may see that or you may not see that. I'll reconnect that later. I won't be able to pull the insides out completely because there's something holding them, probably the flat cable going to the display and controls, and I won't be entering beast mode just to remove that. But we will see some important things right away. The black wall down there is actually a radiator for 4 pairs of transistors that are making up for the discrete part of Class A headphone amplifier. You can see them on the photos, on the official photos from the Gustard, but now here we'll be able to see the relays that are controlling the volume, because this guy uses resistor ladder and relays to control the volume, which is a very nice and very high-end solution. And we also can see two socketed LME 49720 operational amplifiers over here, and as you can see, they're using deep 8 sockets, so you can replace both of them with something else. Having said that, the operational amplifiers that are placed here by the manufacturer are quite nice, although you can tune the sound of the headphone amplifier to your liking with replacing them with something else. As you can see, there's quite a lot of room to the top cover, so even the high operational amplifiers will fit. But then again, there's not too much room if you'd be using the horizontal ones, discrete horizontal ones. Some of them may fit and some of them may not fit because those guys are quite close one to another. And that's it about the build. Give me a second, I will pause the video and I will reconnect the IEC connector to power this guy up and to show you the menu controls. So be right back. Okay, so it's assembled right now and it's connected to the power source. As you can see, the power button area is lighting up and we can power it on by touching this area. I really like this small animation here, and in a second it will be ready. Yeah, and it's ready. So the first thing you usually ask me for is how does the volume change sound like. So you should be able to hear relays clicking. Okay, now as you can see, this basically is used for the volume control, and the volume control is linear, it's not logarithmic. So let's enter the menu, and you can do that by pressing and holding that button. And in the menu you can precisely set the gain level, and the gain, as you can hear, is also set with a set of relays. I was using this guy with maximum gain, which is 28 decibels, and every click gets you to another position of the menu, and rotating the knob changes the setting. As you can see, you can enable or disable preamplifier output completely. When I'm changing this option, you can actually hear that there is a relay switching. So it's completely cutting off the preamp output. Let's leave it at on. And you can do the same thing with headphone amplifier. If you'll be using this guy as a preamplifier only, you can completely disable headphone amplifier, as you can hear. Okay, let's leave it like that. You can set the time for the automatic screen off. Maybe not exactly the time, but you can set it to automatically turn off, and then you can exit the configuration. And that's basically it. It's very simple, but still I would say that you can set quite a lot of things, having in mind that this is basically just a pure preamp headphone amp combo. So that was about the build and functionality. Let's talk about the sound quality, because this is the most important part of the review. And as usual, let's start with the bass. At the beginning, I was thinking that bass lacks some extension, but it turned out that this was just pairing with Aria Organic. Switching to MP145 Pro Titanium Edition, I got superb bass extension, low, powerful rumble and zero hiss. So HP70 is capable of very clean, organic and powerful bass if your headphones are up to it. Bass is well controlled, it has good texture and has a bit of warmth. It's Class A after all. So it's not dry or analytical. Mid-bass is controlled and doesn't bleed into the mid-range, but it makes the bass sound full and rich. Now, talking about the mid-range, let's start with vocals. Both male and female vocals sound organic and very natural, but they are also very clear. There is a lot of detail in mid-range and it sounds very open and transparent, which I really liked. There is no sibilance, but HP70 doesn't artificially smooth things out. There is a bite and ting when needed by the track. Treble. Treble has great extension and sounds very open and airy. Even with my different IEMs from my collection, I always felt that treble is very relaxed and there is a lot of room around me. I loved that with all my big and small planars, as top end was smooth, natural and detailed in a very effortless way. So my kind of treble, the treble that I love from my Electrostats, the same type, the same signature of treble we can have here, and that was excellent. Now let's talk about the technicalities, and the first one is resolution. A resolution with stock amplifiers in stock configuration is excellent, but it can be pushed even further with op-amp swap. More on that later. In stock configuration, HP70 went with flying colors through my resolution test tracks, and I was pushing it hard using my Gustard X30 as a source along DR70N. That's my X30. So I've used both DACs, the X30, which is benchmark for everything, but I also tested HP70 with the DR70. That's a part of the set. Okay, and I would even dare to say that HP70 detail retrieval is even better than what the DR70N can deliver. This guy is, I would say, a little bit better when it comes to resolution than the DR70, and that's also confirmed by the numbers. If you will recall the numbers I've told you earlier, or just rewind the video, then you'll realize that THD plus noise and IMD and SNR, actually the first ones, are really small figures, and signal to noise ratio is a very high figure. Basically, these are proper Gustard level performance numbers. Okay, soundstage and imaging. I've tested imaging in preamp mode mostly. Everything was fine when HP70 was used as a headphone amplifier, but headphones never gave me as much insight into imaging as good old stereo setup does. So with headphones, imaging was limited to what a specific pair of headphones was able to deliver. It was way better in preamp mode with pinpoint center image and wide soundstage. There also was a good amount of depth information, but again, rolling op-amps pushed HP70 even further. A couple of things I wanted to share in the summary first. Let's talk about the power source. The built-in power supply is good, but using external linear power supply or just the raw Dragon, like this guy, this is actually the second one I got for purpose of powering both Audalytic units, is an instant boost to resolution black background. So the inbuilt power source is nice. But if you're able to use LPS or something like Dragon, do that. The change wasn't as dramatic as it was with DR70, but it was still significant. So that's an obvious and easy path to upgrade HP70. I actually wonder why I haven't seen so far Audalytic branded matching looks linear power supply in their offer. The second thing I wanted to talk about here is op-amp rolling. I love that we can do that here, as it's like giving that final touches to the sound signature to perfectly match what we will like. Stock op-amps choice is good, but I went in my tests for my usual suspects, OPA 828 and Barson V7 Vivids, and I liked the HP70 even more. The imaging got better, especially with OPA 828, and resolution, ability to pick up even small sounds in the back, also improved. And then again, if you want to make HP70 super smooth and cozy, you can go with something like staccatos. So there is a lot of room to play. In the DR70 review, you also mentioned in the comments under the review that Sparkos are great pairing. I haven't heard that combo myself, but I believe you, as they were mentioned along versions in the same sentence, which I confirm as a great pairing. HP70 Pre is also very compelling, honestly, for what it brings to the table. It's just plain cheap. I mean, $350 for a preamplifier that sounds like that alone is a bargain price. But this time, for the same price, for this $350, you're getting not only the excellent preamplifier, but you're also getting an excellent headphone amplifier. So HP70 is not just a very good headphone amplifier, it also works very good as a preamp. I would love to have logarithmic volume control, but that is a very minor gripe. All in all, highly recommended, as HP70 is excellent, both standalone unit and excellent DR70N match. I really love the setup together, and as you've said in the comments under my DR70N review, many of you are already using both of them together, and they are so good, which is not reflected in the price, because they are actually both cheap, but when it comes to the sound quality, they are so good that you've said in the comments that you are using them with way more expensive power amplifiers and more expensive speakers, and they still deliver great sound quality, which means that for the price they are bargain, and not mentioning the price, they are very good choice when the bass components, and they are also very small. These guys are not 450mm standard separates. I'm not sure about the actual numbers, I would have to check that with the specification, but it seems like it's half or a little more than half of 450mm, a little more than half, I would say. Still, they sound great, they are very small, and they are just cheap. So those guys, both of them, DR70N and HP70, are getting my highest recommendation. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. As usual, you're more than welcome to support my channel by getting me a beer using PayPal link or YouTube Super Thanks button. And yes, beer money goes towards beer. That's my promise to you. And what else? And that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day with your music, guys. See you next time.